Hello, everybody. Welcome. Uzi, how are you?
Good. Excited to kick off the 10-10 week.
Good. For those of you on YouTube, please let me know in live chat that the audio is good. About Tesla, how are you?
Pretty good. Excited about this week, the week we've been waiting for.
Good. Ellie, how is it going over there? Let's start with you. What's the update from Israel?
Hey, Aman. Thanks for having me. So we have ground troops invaded Lebanon, basically trying to clear as many Hezbollah weapon missiles, whatever we can do to make sure that the north will be safe. We just had one missile coming from Yemen today, so that ignite the whole center of Israel. But at the same time, we're trying to talk peace with the leader of Hamas. If not peace, something like a deal to make sure maybe to release the hostages and to clear some of what's going on down, at least for a period of time. So that's basically on a nutshell.
Thank you, Ellie. Are you safe? Are you in a shelter?
I'm safe. I'm not in a shelter. Only if we have massive attack, I will go to shelter. But for now, I'm happy to be here and listen to Tesla Live.
Thank you, Ellie. Good to have you here. And let us know if there are any updates. And you're always welcome to request to speak and interrupt whatever we're discussing. On the back of this morning's news from Middle East, oil prices are higher at about $77 per barrel. And also Brent crude oil prices are above $80 per barrel. Brent crude oil prices are what impact gas prices, which obviously has an impact on Tesla's demand for cars. If the gas prices are higher, the demand goes up. We've seen this in May 2022, but also it pushes the hand of the Fed. So the Fed can't cut rates in the face of rising energy prices. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. And then there's also obviously the horrible reality on the ground that Ellie reports to us every day. Thank you very much, Ellie. Appreciate your input. About Tesla, let's switch to FSD updates. How are the FSD updates coming along?
So we had a pretty big wave on Saturday. The latest FSD version 12.5.4.1 went out to a total of about 12% of the fleet in the US and Canada, which is the biggest wave of this version so far. And together with the 12.5.4, this is almost half of the fleet of the FSD fleet in the US and Canada, probably even more because significant portion of cars that are still on 12.3.6 are probably cars that don't use FSD, don't even have it subscribed. So it's hard to tell what exactly the balance is, but my guess is it's way more than half of the fleet now is on the latest version or the two latest versions, which have actually smart summon and hands-free driving with sunglasses and everything. So that's really good. And then, as I mentioned earlier, pretty much all Cybertrucks also have FSD now. The 12.5.5 it has been released to majority of the Cybertrucks.
Thank you very much about Tesla. That's valuable information. I really appreciate you coming up here every single day, giving us an update on how the rollouts are going. At the top of your screens is a link to the YouTube video that's going on right now for Tesla Live. Please take a moment to like and share that video. Even if you listen on X, it really, really helps out. Push the channel forward, grow the channel, which we can hear from about Tesla. We can hear about Ellie daily in part because of the ad revenue that we get from YouTube. So it really helps out to share that video. So if you could please go up to the top of our screens and repost that video, I would highly appreciate it. Thank you very much, everybody. Uzi.
Yeah, talking about YouTube videos, I wanted to mention your video with Paul Mars yesterday. I like the visual component to it. You can pull up Waymo's categorizations or like their safety scores. As always, it's a good conversation with Omar. So I recommend that one too if you get 20 minutes.
Yeah, yesterday's conversation was really good. It's a bit of an impromptu that I texted him at noon and I said, hey, man, are you up for a conversation on Tesla FSD versus Waymo? Because of what I hear in this space and because of all the replies I get, there's a lot of misinformation about the data that Waymo shares, how that data compares to Tesla FSD, where the two systems are, what are the differences between the two. And we dug deep into that conversation, into those questions, into that misinformation with Omar. These deeper conversations that I have with people on YouTube are very different from Tesla Live, but they complement each other. In Tesla Live, I'm the host. I have a lot of things going on in the background about requests to speak, about the replies I get on X, about live chat on YouTube. I mean, I have moderators on YouTube who are really, really helpful. I really appreciate that. But it's hard for me to pay attention to all of those things at the same time. So sometimes it really makes sense to kind of break apart, and create this 20, 30-minute information dense video that I then edit to make it even more information dense. And this one, the link to which is at the top of our screens, with Omar really resonated. So far, it has 4 times more clicks than the other video with Omar. That was about a few weeks ago. And also 20 times more clicks and watch hours than an average video on my YouTube channel. And that, I think, speaks to how information dense it is. And most of those views are coming from YouTube's own browsing feature. So not necessarily external links. So YouTube algorithm is resonating with the video. We have record number of comments below the video from both bulls and bears, lots of different questions. So there's going to be episode 2 to that, of course. And so I really appreciate you all for liking and reposting, which really helps grow this channel. You can reach that video at the top of our screens. Bull 2035. Bull 2035, you have to unmute yourself for us to hear you.
Sorry about that. You did a really nice job of summarizing, or AI summarizing, and then you do the timestamps. So like you can listen to sections at a time, which I find very helpful when I get a couple of minutes here and there. So very nice job.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the timestamps for the tweet at the video with Omar, I did it by myself. And the description is helped with ChatGPT. So I'm trying to leverage AI as much as I can, and I'm trying to employ all the things I learned in AI amateurs space. So I see on YouTube live chat right now, Michelle, letting me know that audio over there is great. He's also in X space. AI amateurs is an incredibly underrated space that we developed a few weeks ago. We're going to have the episode 10 tonight. And I'm trying to leverage everything I can in that space in growing this channel, which I think is really, really helpful. So if you want to join us, that's tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. All right, Alexander, how are you doing? Did you watch the YouTube video with Omar?
I'm doing good. Yes, I watched the video, but I lost focus because I'm thinking a lot about AI right now.
Okay, well, tell us about it. What are you thinking about?
After last week's interview with Palantir, I started to think about how I can implement this in my company. And I figured, like, I can't hire these guys to do this because that would be too expensive. So I have to do it myself, and I'm co-piloting with a friend to try to fix this for the company.
Okay, great. And how far of the video did you watch with Omar?
I watched all of it, but I kind of started thinking about llama things, so I kind of lost focus.
Okay. Well, if you lost focus, I recommend watching again. And I thank you for watching all of it. That obviously helps a lot too when people watch all of the channel. And here are some of the topics we discussed. First, we referenced Elon's comment in the 2019 Autonomy Day, where he predicts everyone will get rid of LiDAR. And I asked Omar's thoughts on that. And then second, we dug into Waymo's publicly released data hub, where they show detailed crash comparisons to promote transparency. We talked about whether Tesla should adopt that approach as well. Omar Omar doesn't get these questions ahead of time. That's one of the reasons why I really like talking to him, is that he's like super transparent. And I ask him point blank questions. And then we talked about if the data is comparable between FSD and Waymo. Now we talked about a thread that got 250,000 views that says Waymo is ahead. And I got Omar's response to that. And now we talked about Elon's recent post about FSD soon reaching 10,000 miles between critical interventions. And now we talked about some politics, whether Harris or Trump would be more beneficial to our robotaxi ambitions. And now we talked about 1010 speculations. Omar made what I thought was a surprising prediction about where Waymo and FSD are going to be in 3 years. And now we talked a little bit about Tesla Semi. Well, and we all did this in 25, 30 minutes, which is stunning. We can't possibly do that in Tesla Live Spaces. So I think, but the thing is, like, Tesla Live Spaces open up the door for these conversations. I get a good sense of where everybody is, where all the speakers are, listeners are, where the conversations, where the gaps are, and then I can dig into those things deeper in these deeper conversation series. Alexander?
Yeah, I just want to add, I easily lose focus. I was also dropped as a child, so it's nothing bad about the video. It's probably really good. But I always have
I understand. I see it in the data too. You don't have to make up for it. I see in the data to see 3 times more engagement than Omar's last video with me, and 20 times more engagement than an average video. But I really appreciate people leaving a comment in there as well. All right, we have a lot to talk about. Let's not dwell on that video. Let's see. West Hicks, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Thank you. Do you mind if I talk about the video for just 15 more seconds?
Sure. Go ahead.
First of all, I have a anti-kiss ass policy. I don't really care what anybody thinks about me. So this is genuine feelings. Your skill set has really improved over the last year. You did a great job in that video. I like that you got into it real quick. The questions were spectacular. And then switching gears a minute, Omar's responses are just out of this world. I thought he probably had those questions in advance because his answers were so spot on. The content he brings to this group is amazing. So appreciate you guys. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, thank you very much for saying that. I figured people would think that sometimes because, Omar and I, we talk every single day, and his, answers are always so polished. But the fact is, no, he did not get those questions in advance at all. And I make it a point about that. I want genuine responses in those videos. And Uzi can speak to it too. Uzi also came on for a deeper conversation, and I didn't give him any of the questions ahead of time. And we had a great chat. One of the things I really like about Omar is that it doesn't matter. The fact that I speak to him every single day does not matter. I learn every single time. I learn something new. And I learned a couple of things new in that 30-minute video that I didn't know before, which is stunning. You would think, right? I spent like pretty much all waking hours following Tesla and Tesla-related topics. I host Tesla Live every single day for 2 years. And it's just amazing to me that every single time I talk to the guy, I learn something new. Uzi?
Yeah, I'd really recommend if you think Tesla Live is, it's too easy being a speaker or something, doing a deeper conversation, because it's probably the hardest, most reflective task you'll ever have to do, especially when you don't know the question. You're asked to drill deeper into your understanding, and then you're also putting it on a grid where everything's coherent, so that you're not just making up, gut judgments. They have to line up over time and build off each other.
Yeah, that's the other thing. In these deeper conversations, I can hold people more accountable and kind of like on the spot, ask them Okay, well, you said this and you said that. You said this in this episode and Tesla Live, but here you're saying this. Like, how do you tie that together? Kind of thing. And I could feel Uzi's sweats coming down his forehead as I was asking questions, but which is understandable. I don't know if you guys saw the. I don't know if yeah. I don't know if you guys. Are you okay?
I am now.
Should we do some breathing exercises?
Maybe if I get like an optimist, we can meditate.
I don't know if you guys saw the picture that I just posted on my profile, of all the heated debates that we have, how much liquid cooling I have to do in real time. Anyway, all right. Let's go to a bear. Bear on board. Bear on board, everybody. Magic. Are you feeling sweaty too, heading up to this 1010 event?
I'm feeling great. I mean, it seems like it's going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news. So happy to see how it plays out. I think the main thing that people obviously on this space probably not going to bring up, but there was two big departures: the chief information officer, and then today we got the head of vehicle programs. I know that we have Omar in, and he's not worried about anything. But at some point, it becomes alarming when all these people are leaving. Especially right before the presentation, not right after. So you guys can keep ignoring the warning signs, but it's all there.
Yeah, that's an interesting comment you made. So the new vehicle programs and the chief information officer left today. I mean, the second one, the new vehicle program director left over the weekend, I think, and that chief information left last week. Those are two interesting departures heading into this 1010 event. Let's hear what West 6 has to say.
I've been in the information technology staffing industry my whole life and understand the hierarchy of information technology groups and the CIO's role and stuff like that. And to me, it's look, you hate losing anybody. He might have been forced out. None of us know who made the decision. But I think the overall piece that I want to address that Magic just said is you really, when you have an organization the size of Tesla, it's impossible to measure. For instance, Magic just said something like all these departures. There's over 100,000 people in this company. It's you can't look at this anecdotal piece of information and make an assessment either direction.
Thank you, Wes. Good points. Wes 6, like he said, he has many years of experience in staffing of technology companies, and great to have you on the speaker board in the face of this Tesla bear trying to spread FUD in my space. Magic?
Yeah, I think it trivializes the point. I'm not talking about a factory worker turnover, right? I'm talking about high-level executives. I think there's a big difference there. If a lot of high-level executives are turning over, that's if the HR person in one factory leaves, like that of course, if the top executives leaving is a red flag. That's clear as day.
All right, great rebuttal from Magic. Let's mix it up a little bit. Let's go to Uzi.
Well, first, for the buy the rumor, sell the news, well, you're seeing that now, and I think it's actually a good thing that there's consolidation at this like 245 level, because it does suggest that they aren't overpricing in the event. For the departure, I mean, that's not really on my radar. I don't think anyone here cares, as long as Elon Musk is there. For the most part, yes, like we cut the head of charging. Did it really matter? No. Elon has a tendency to overcut and then bring people back. But at the end of the day, as long as the vision is there and the executors are there, then it's fine. And I think the chief information officer, if anything, is just is an intel agent trying to make Elon's job easier. I don't think it compromises the operations at all.
Great points, Uzi. Uzi says, look at what happened with the supercharging team. The entire team was cut. A couple of the people were brought back. And just now, we actually got news that Tesla supercharging network is growing, core over core, and the biggest ever at this point. So even though the entire team was cut, Tesla supercharging network is continuing to grow. Great point, Uzi. And I want to add on Magic's 1010 buy the rumor, sell the news prediction. I was actually listening to Gene Munster's weekly podcast before I hopped on here, and they made a good point, which is compared to other Tesla events, and the fact that how big this robotaxi, autonomy, Optimus point business is going to be in the future, the hype level is actually not that high going into this event compared to other events. So we'll see what happens after the event. I welcome any predictions about how the Tesla stock is going to react after 10/10 event. Let's go to Bull 2035.
Hey, I think the point that Magic makes, which is somewhat fair, is the lack of.
Can you guys hear Bull?
Yes.
Albert.
I think the point that Magic makes it somewhat fair is the lack of a clear succession plan. We don't seem to have one right now, and I invest in Tesla, and that does concern me. And I didn't know if any other speakers, Wes or anyone else, has any idea or whether that shouldn't be a concern, the lack of a clear succession plan.
Go ahead, Wes.
Yeah, well, do you mean, for example, the CIO leaving?
I mean the fact that, Elon, what, God forbid something happens to him, or he no longer is interested in it, or there's just crazy things that happen in this world.
No, I gotta hop in here. I heard what you said. I think you worded as there's no clear succession plan, but we don't know that, right? All we know is that it's not publicly shared, even if there is one. And I wouldn't expect the company to publicly share a succession plan, right? Because it kind of puts a spotlight on the next person, whether if they leave, whether something happens to them. So, this is a whole nother can of worms you open up here. But let's grab a couple of responses to that. Wessex.
Yeah, and I'll just wrap up with that. It's not going to be public information. Secondly, you don't want to really tell someone that, hey, if I leave, you're the guy or something like that. I think that creates additional problems downstream.
Exactly. Alexander?
No, I only agreed.
Okay, Uzi.
Outside of succession, I think the best FUD point is that there might not be a 25K car, because you have Gene Munster saying there'll be 3 cars coming out, 25, the Cybervan, and the robotaxi. Whereas Dan Ives, talks to Herbert and he says it's just going to be a robotaxi. So I think that's really where the meat of the bear argument might be.
Yes, exactly. And that's one of the things I want to discuss today in Tesla Live. Whether you guys believe 2 or 3 new vehicles will be unveiled on 10/10 and what they're going to be. So if you're watching this on YouTube right now, we have about 60 people watching on YouTube right now. Concurrent viewers, very high for the beginning of this space, actually. If you're watching this, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in YouTube live chat. Whether you believe 10/10 is going to unveil 2 or 3 new vehicles and what you believe they're going to be. Let's have a discussion on this. Magic.
Hey, I pinned a post to the comment section regarding the debt raise that they're trying to do, the debt back sale.
No, not the topic right now. We're going to
Okay.
get to that. I appreciate this is your strength, but not the topic right now. Let me know whether you believe there's going to be 2 or 3. Let's go to About Tesla first. About Tesla, what do you think on 10/10, Elon and the new, the LA design team? What do you think they're going to announce? Let your imagination run wild going into this event.
Well, personally, I'm trying to lower my expectations and to be pleasantly surprised. I think they will announce the robotaxi vehicle. I think it might be more than one version of it. So I do like the idea of having, the compact version and then something of a minivan size, if it can be done on the same platform, with the same unboxed method. I don't know if it can be or not, but that I think that would be possible. I do not expect the announcement of the so-called 25K car at this point. It just doesn't make any sense, even if they plan to do it. I think they are planning to do it, but it's wouldn't make any sense to announce it so early in advance. They may or may not announced the cheaper versions of Model 3, Model Y that they're working on. But again, I don't think it's the place and time to do it. They should probably do it closer to the release. So what I would like to see and hope to see this week is not just the vehicle itself, but their business plan and details of the operation plan, how the robotaxi is going to do work, and from the logistics standpoint, from the business standpoint, from financial standpoint. Do they plan to start with just their own cars, or do they want to involve other owners from the start, perhaps in supervised mode initially, which is an interesting idea. I don't know if that will happen or not. So those kind of things would be very interesting to know. But as far as the vehicles, I do not expect any vehicles beyond the robotaxi.
Interesting. Thank you very much about Tesla. And in YouTube live chat, we have Dylan Fonseca saying, I think one vehicle, maybe a teaser for a van, people mover. And also Yura Kesic says 2 new vehicles, robotaxi, and a $30,000 vehicle on the 3 and Y platform. And Salsed says 2 new vehicles. Wow. So we have one person saying 2 vehicles, one person saying 1 vehicle, one person saying 3 vehicles. And Iska Viguera says, maybe 2 variants of the robotaxi, 2-seat and a van, and then maybe a roadster and with SpaceX package. Man, I would love to see that. I would love to see that, but I doubt they're going to talk about that this event. Yeah, this is going to be incredible. I mean, look at these wide range of expectations going into a 1010, even though it's only a couple of days ahead now. Let's get to, I'm going to give a shout out to our sponsors because they make this space possible. In the meantime, if you're listening on X, please take a moment to go up to the top of your screens, click into the YouTube link, and hit that like button while I read these sponsors live. Joa, Tesla Live is proudly sponsored by Joa, your go-to source for premium Tesla accessories. And because you're part of the Tesla Live community, Joa is hooking you up. Use code TSLA Live for a special discount. And Paymore. Paymore buys, sells, trades, and recycles electronics because Paymore believes the best technology doesn't have to come at the cost of our planet or your wallet. Join the Paymore revolution. Visit one of their 100 stores near you or visit paymore.com. Thank you very much, everybody. And thank you to those of you, just for fun, let me know in YouTube live chat that you liked the video. I really appreciate that. That really helps spread the channel to new viewers. Thank you. We're at 66 likes right now. Not bad for the first half hour. And you can see it. I mean, 66 likes and 66 concurrent viewers. So it's direct correlation in terms of spreading it to new viewers. Thank you very much for helping grow Tesla Live. All right. Wessex about Tesla is setting expectations low. I need someone to counter that. Let's get some balanced. I mean, it's only 2 days away. It's only 2 days away. We can't get excited about this event. Let's go.
I'm going to the event, so I'm just crazy excited. And when Omar gets on here, I'm going to ask him if he has any hotel recommendations, or if anybody else has any. Please let me know in this space. But I'll tell you one thing that I haven't heard anybody talk about yet that seems almost obvious now is FSD 13 coming out in October, and this event happening as well in October. And so I believe they're going to get into, I'm expecting them to get into a lot of detail regarding FSD 13 and its capabilities. And it just seems obvious that it may even connect to how well they articulate the path forward, meaning, and what I'm looking for is the question when. When will they deploy the robotaxi network? And I think within the discussion around FSD 13, again, I'm speculating, we might get enough detail to where this thing's crazy.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, Tesla AI team has been delivering point after point on the ambitious plan that they laid out about a month ago and across Q3. And the next one, I believe, on that is V13, version 13. So Wessex is excited for that. Omar has mentioned in previous space that maybe they're going to unveil a new FSD version at this event. Who knows? Maybe they'll demo it. We'll see. But I'm excited for this event very much. Dallas, go ahead.
Yeah, I think as he said, I think timeline is going to be really interesting. an updated kind of current state of the union as far as what the next year looks like would be great. I think everything's going to be centered around the app. And it's not just going to be moving people, it's going to be moving product, which is why I think they're going to demo and unveil the cyber cab and then potentially a cyber van, as part of the event, delivering goods and commodities, not just people. So I can't wait.
Bull 2035. Thanks, Dallas.
Yeah, and to dovetail off what Wes said, I'd like to know if they are done designing AI5. Elon mentioned earlier this year that it may be done this fall, but we haven't heard anything. And I'm very curious to see what type of specs they have, what type of cameras they're using, because they need that for robotaxi.
Interesting. So Bull 2035 today is on a roll with opening a can of worms, different topics, growing the conversation. Thank you very much. And we have a wild one in YouTube live chat right now, just for fun, usually a reasonable person. And in YouTube live chat, he says, at least 8 new models. He must be on caffeine today. At least 8 new models: robotaxi, robovan, robo model 2, robo EV tall, okay, robo choppa, okay, a few more that I'm not even gonna read. Wild, crazy man. Okay. All right, that's crazy. About Tesla, go ahead. Now, about Tesla will bring us back down.
One thing I think we will see is the robots, the Optimus robots, and I was thinking about, how could they show them so that they would be related to the robotaxi event. And it would be really nice to see, them cleaning cars or charging the cars or doing some delivery. But I don't know if that's they're ready for that. But one thing the Tesla bot is definitely ready for, and something that they've been practicing for a long, long time, is walking. So I'm thinking maybe they will have like a bunch of robots going in that Warner Brothers studio, playing the role of pedestrians while the robotaxi is doing some test rides, demo rides. They have plenty of them ready, and they've all been working pretty well. So I think that's probably what we will see, among other things, of course.
Thank you about Tesla. Alexander.
Yeah, I think the charging will be wireless, to be honest. I think the best part is no Optimus in this case.
Best parts is no Optimus. I agree. I don't think it makes sense. I mean, can you imagine if there was an Optimus on every supercharging station and then the harassment it would get from people? That would be wild. Alexander, what do you think is going to be the solution?
Yeah, wireless charging. It's a technology that actually works pretty good. There's actually one Norwegian YouTuber that tried this like a year ago, and the efficiency is actually pretty high.
About Tesla, in response to that?
It will be really interesting to hear from Tesla what exactly they're planning as far as, and for me, charging is not actually the biggest issue. I think cleaning the cars is probably a bigger concern. So plugging in and just while you're cleaning, it's not a big deal. A human, if the human is cleaning the car, they can also plug it in. So that's not a big deal. But if they can automate the process of cleaning, that would be interesting. And in that case, automating the charging could be also be important. But until that part is taken care of, I mean, how much energy will a robotaxi consume during the day? It's not going to drive thousands of miles, right? So it's probably will only need to be charged once at night, maybe in the middle of the day if it had longer runs. But most cars will be just charging once at night, and it doesn't require even fast charging, so it can be relatively slow charging. So wireless charging is okay, but I don't think it's a necessity for the launch day.
Great conversation. I really like this one because there's a wide range of views. It's technology oriented. We can dig into the technology as well. And also, we're going to find out in a couple of days. So let's have a brainstorming session. Everybody share their views about what the charging solution is going to be for robotaxis. And then in a couple of days, maybe we can predict it, what's going to happen in a couple of days. Let's go to Dallas.
Yeah, I completely disagree with that point on wireless charging is not of the utmost importance. Optimus plugging in cars would be really cool. And I think it would really work to help, get the cars that are already existing on the road that don't have wireless charging capabilities onto the fleet for robotaxi purposes. But, if they're really going to start doing beta programs of, we talked a lot about maybe doing stuff in like Austin or San Francisco, you're going to have these cars charging on their own. So I think one of the first and foremost important things will be wireless charging.
Alexander.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna put any Optimus anywhere to plug in these cars. Then the Snake charger makes more sense.
We have Dylan, who says the robo. There's some chit chat going on there. I gotta ignore. All right. If Elon were to go away today, the company, oh man, okay. So I think sometimes people watch on YouTube, like they join late and then they watch 1.5, 2x. Steve is here too. Thanks, sir. Man, it's a busy crowd today. It's gonna be a busy week. I see Robert in the crowd as well. If Robert would like to come up and share his views about 1010, he's welcome to do so. And then tonight, again, we have AI amateurs. Robert is a permanent speaker in AI amateurs, very valuable source of information tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Bull 2035.
Yeah, and for those that don't understand where this is taking place, if you go on Google Earth, you can see photographs from almost every angle in the neighborhoods and the cities. It's going to be really cool.
Very cool. All right, let's go to Samir. Samir, and a quick word of thank you to all of you who took the time to like the video, the live chat on YouTube. This is at the top of our screens. We just crossed 100 likes. Thank you very much, everybody. Samir, go ahead.
Hey, Yaman, thanks for having me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I like I said, we have a policy. You have to skip all that. It's a very information-packed space. Let's go to Robert. Robert, how are you?
I'm doing great. Sorry, I couldn't find my mute so quickly.
Welcome to the space. What do you expect for 1010? It's a very exciting week for Tesla.
We've been waiting a decade for this, and Elon's been planning this since before the Model 3 came to market in 2017. I'm real excited. This is going to bring a new experience to transportation and a new set of capabilities to us. And it will lead to a dramatic shift in how we use vehicles in our streets.
What do you think people will be talking about the day after?
The completeness of it, the fact that no one else can match it. And here's one. My wife and I used to argue about vents all the time. A Tesla has electric vents, so it can always have your vent setting, no matter which seat you're sitting in, working for you. No other car company has them, and they resisted putting them in because they thought their customers wanted to touch knobs. And just start with the vents. It just leads to a better experience overall that Zoox or Waymo or GM Cruise can't match.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much, Robert.
I'm most interested in meeting Optimus. If I get to meet Optimus, that would be very cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I think we're going to get a new version of Optimus, maybe talking, maybe doing some demos. That would be really interesting. Like I mentioned, like I mentioned at the beginning of the space, Omar and I had a good conversation last night. This video is only about 30 minutes long, and we dug deep into 10 questions, mostly about Tesla and Waymo. But towards the end, we also speculated a bit about 1010 and if Optimus or Tesla Semi or other vehicles will make a showing. This conversation is at the top of our screens. It was really information packed. And I really appreciated that people are taking a stand on spreading and growing this channel. All my speakers, especially Dallas, who I'm going to go to next. Dallas does a great job in tagging me on some material posts that we should be discussing, and also trying to get people to like the video, share the videos, and grow the channel. Dallas, go ahead.
Yeah, first I wanted to say thanks for that, and Ellie, I hope all is well today. I know we're thinking about you guys today. Just wanted to put that in there. Yeah, I kind of just wanted to loop back to what to expect here at this event. One other thing that I don't think has been touched on enough is, like, when are we supposed to know more about the timeline of unsupervised? And I know we talk a lot in here saying there's no way of knowing. There's no way of knowing. Elon's just going to tweet, but maybe that's part of the presentation, right? Because they want our vehicles on this network. So I'm really looking forward to the timeline for that.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. He did. So one of the things that we discussed in the video at the top of our screens is Elon's tweet about 10,000 miles between critical interventions and how to interpret that, how to think about that. And then that also led to more conversation about Waymo versus FSD, if those miles are comparable at all. And we dug into Waymo's public data hub as well. That's an interesting question. I think a lot of people are very optimistic about when Tesla FSD is going to get to 10,000 miles per critical intervention. And, Dallas, I just don't know if even Tesla AI team knows when they're going to get to unsupervised at this point. I think they're trying their hardest. Over the weekend, I watched some videos from the Waymo team, the challenges, the software and hardware challenges that they face. And that kind of made me think, man, this challenge is so multifaceted. So many things they have to. But I look forward to those discussions. Robert, are you going to make it to tonight's AI amateur space? Robert, you're on mute. Let's go to Alexander. Alexander?
No, moment has passed.
No, go ahead.
No, I just thought about 10,000 miles per critical disengagement, and I was thinking like that is only like 16 weeks of driving for me.
Yeah, I mean the thing about 10,000 miles per critical intervention is not necessarily the level, but what it would say about the pace of progress, and then how quickly you could get to 100,000 miles, a million miles. If they can actually get to 10,000 miles per critical disengagement soon, but we just don't know what the definition of soon is, that would be a monumental achievement, right? And maybe they'll get there by V13. What I really would love to hear is if Elon could maybe specify on 1010 what they mean by critical intervention, how they measure it, if they're going to have some sort of a publicly available dashboard that people can track, just like Waymo shared, so that we don't have to go to third-party dashboards that have some questions around its validity. So I'm looking forward to it. This event, I think, is going to be monumental for Tesla's history. All right, Dallas, you tagged me on something today about the Cybertruck and Geico. What do we know about whether Geico is canceling Cybertruck coverage? Is this misinformation? And can we clarify it?
Yeah, I don't think it's misinformation. So that statement as a whole could be a little misleading, though, because from what I read in the article, it's only one guy's case where Geico then kind of gave him a blanket statement like, we no longer cover these vehicles. So there's only been one report of a guy being dropped, but the way they phrased it to the customers, it sounds like it's across the board. So I think we're going to know a lot more here in the next coming days.
Okay, and I've seen, let's go to, I see JC in the crowd if he wants to come up and tell us about it. And if there are other people in the audience who have dug into whether Geico is canceling Cybertruck coverage, please request to speak and let us know. And if you have more detailed information about that one case, I mean, I don't know how one customer service representative would know about Geico's policy about Cybertruck. I've also seen other people, other Cybertruck owners denying that misinformation. So it sounds like misinformation to me, but I would love to learn more about it. So if anyone knows about whether how Geico is handling Cybertruck coverage, please come up and request to speak, or let me know in YouTube live chat and I can read it here. JC, how are you?
Hey, Yaman, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. Did you get a chance to watch this interview with Omar? Actually, before that, let's go to West 6.
It was
what? Jason, 1 second. West 6, do you have the information on Cybertruck and Geico?
Sure do. There was a publication called EVS that I'll just read the title. That says Tesla Cybertrucks are still being insured by Geico despite claims.
Okay, very good. And if somebody has more detailed information on that, more data, facts, I would appreciate you request and speak. West 6, anything else on that article?
Yeah, I haven't read the whole detail. I did see it posted about an hour ago, so I just pulled it back up to jump on it. So I haven't clicked on it yet. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. So while West 6 reviews that, JC, can you give us an update on how FSD is doing for you?
It's doing great. I'm actually in the car right now. I just left the Navajo Nation reservation in Rama, New Mexico. I'm currently, as we speak, I'm driving through the Zuni Nation. So the if my internet goes or my cell coverage sounds bad, apologies, but the infrastructure out here is just horrific. That's a whole nother story, the way we've treated the natives. It's just absolutely horrible, but that's not FSD. So let's get back to FSD. It's been fantastic, Yaman. I've put about, in the last 2 days, I've put about 1,200 miles of FSD going from Houston to LA. And I have had 2 disengagements. So about on average, 1 every 600 miles. But what I would tell you is those 2 disengagements, neither of them were critical. They were red hands that were thrown up at me. And it was all GPS related here in New Mexico. So I don't know if it's bad cell coverage or the aliens, one or the other. But
All right.
yeah.
Thank you very much, JC. Appreciate your colorful language. Always bring lots of fun into the space. Man, Texas is amazing. Austin, Texas is amazing. I really love hearing from JC and others from Texas. Let's go to Alexander, then Wessex.
Most important question for JC. How many burgers have you eaten on this trip?
I've had one burger. That's it. They don't do a lot of burgers here in New Mexico. It's more Mexican and native.
Yeah.
Then you're not an American.
Yeah, exactly. Alexander thinks 350 million people in the US just eats burgers for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's the perception of Europeans, of Americans.
100% correct.
Yeah. But the fact is, we actually eat tacos down south. I don't know if you ever eaten a breakfast taco in Texas. Dallas knows. See, Dallas is giving me the hearts. Dallas, how many days have you had in your past where you ate tacos for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
I'm actually eating tacos as we speak. And the office brought in tacos for breakfast. So that's 2 and 2 meals today. I want to turn that around on Alexander and ask how many Swedish meatballs he eats on a regular basis.
That's a daily cuisine here, or else you lose your citizenship.
I'll tell you, Alexander, sometimes I go to IKEA just for the Swedish meatballs. Wessex, go ahead.
I'm telling myself real quick, the EVS thing I mentioned, I think was simply just EVs. It seemed like a screenshot, but I did find that The Verge wrote an article about this, and here it is. It's Geico insists it has coverage for the Cybertruck after owners complain about drop policies. So it's a full article, and it seems like they talked to Geico or somebody did.
Thank you very much, Wessex. I appreciate you bringing truth to the space and fact-checking real time. That's what Tesla Live is all about. And Omar just joined us as well on the speaker board to give them instead of applause, like the video at the top of our screens. Omar and I had a great conversation last night, and a quick turnaround and published it for public consumption. And thousands of views already. It is trending about 20 times more views than an average video on the YouTube channel, and 3 times more views than my last conversation with Omar. So that goes to show how fast this Tesla Live community is growing with all of your help. And thank you very much for liking and sharing the videos with everybody. Omar, welcome. How are you?
Hey, doing good. Big week this week.
Big week indeed. How do you feel about it?
I'm really excited. We just saw another round of invites go out. My girlfriend got one. So we're going to go to the event. We're super excited. And yeah, I think it's going to be a big one. I think it's going to be historic.
That's great to hear. And Omar, from the conversation, and I'm glad your girlfriend got one too. And I saw a lot of people reporting Chansu got one as well. I wonder if he's in the audience today. Chansu got an invite as well. So it's going to be a big party, and it's being talked about everywhere. And I think part of the reason why the video at the top is doing so well is obviously because robotaxi. This is the robotaxi week. Even McDonald's is getting on it. And I got a lot of questions in the comments to the video, Omar, just to kind of tell you a couple, and maybe you can respond to it live here. One person said, if FSD is doing so well, better than Waymo, why isn't Tesla using FSD in the Vegas tunnel? And another person said, why hasn't Tesla applied for a California DMV supervised permit if it's doing so well? What's your response?
Well, I mean, they actually are starting to use it in the Vegas tunnel. So the Las Vegas Convention Center Authority didn't really want it to be autonomous at first. They said, let's just start with humans. We're not trying to have some type of, bad press disaster scenario. But they are now starting to use FSD supervised in the tunnel. So you go take a trip to the Vegas Convention Center, maybe go to CES or something. You're going to find that there is a human behind the wheel, but they're using FSD now in the tunnels. Once they are feeling good about that, they're going to remove the human. So, they are going to do that. It may be one of the first place that people see a driverless Teslas under Las Vegas. And then, in terms of filing for a permit, I think at the time when they're ready to do an unsupervised deployment, they will file for a permit. I mean, it's a relatively trivial thing. You just, file for a permit. But there's all kinds of requirements that go with filing for the permit. You have to start reporting how many interventions you have and how much testing you're doing. And there isn't really any benefit to it unless you're really ready to deploy, because then you're just sorry, I got an Amber Alert. Because then you're just sort of subjecting yourself to all this regulation for no reason. So I think they'll file for a permit at the time when it's appropriate, but it's right now they're still doing a supervised deployment, so there's not really any benefit to that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Omar. And it's hard for me to keep up with the dozens of comments that are coming to YouTube channel. So I appreciate when people reply to others' questions as well. I want to give a shout out to Joa because I just read a reply. I'm going to pin this at the top of our screens. This is a reply to Chansu. Joa is one of the sponsors. So let's get the word out. If you can, please like and repost the tweet at the top from Joa while I read the ad that they sponsor the space. Joa says, did you get a +1? I will be your wife for the night. That's the ad read for today. This is our sponsors. It's a great fit for the space, as you can see, with a sense of humor and passion for Tesla events. Tesla Live is proudly sponsored by Joa, your go-to source for premium Tesla accessories. And because you're part of the Tesla Live community, Joe is hooking you up. Use code TSLA Live for a special discount. And if you got an invite to the event and you want Joe to be your wife for the night, let him know at the top. And Paymore. Paymore buys, sells, trades, and recycles electronics because Paymore believes the best technology does not have to come at the cost of our planet or your wallet. Join the Paymore revolution. Visit one of their 100 stores near you or visit paymore.com. And if you all saw my picture that I posted this morning on my profile, the liquid cooling that I have going on right now because of all the heated Tesla debates that we have in this space, I may have to upgrade to an M2 chip or an M3 chip computer. And I'm definitely going to obviously give back the laptop that Paymore gave me to host this space. So Paymore has done a lot for me for this space already, and hopefully upgrade to an M2 chip laptop. All right. We have a lot to discuss. Let's see. Omar, did you hear about this Cybertruck Geico misinformation that's being spread?
No.
Somebody claimed that Geico may be canceling Cybertruck coverage, but West 6 was on the board live fact checking that that may be just one event. I wonder, West 6, do we know what happened in that one instance?
There was some speculation in the comments on a post in one of the Cybertruck groups that the person that posted it probably has like 20 DUIs or something, and it might be more to the story. But outside of that, I don't know anything else.
Okay, so they got a bunch of DUIs and they're trying to blame Tesla. Man, got it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I got my Cybertruck. My mom backed into it in the driveway, and so I've been going through the process to get that repaired, and it's actually fairly straightforward. They gave me a quote for about $2,000 to replace the side panel, the tailgate, and the bumper. It's actually a pretty simple repair process. They just take the sheet of metal and they take it off and they put a new one on, and that's just it. So it's actually cheaper to repair than my Model S.
That's good to know. Do you have any specific numbers you can share with us? If not today, maybe tomorrow. This is what would it cost with the Model S. This is what it cost with the Cybertruck, so we can get some detailed information.
I think that the cost to repair the Model S was double the cost to repair the Cybertruck. And the Model S was just like a minor sort of scrape against the wall, whereas like the Cybertruck got like banged into. And the thing I like about the Cybertruck is it can take a beating much better. So even though the car got backed into, there's no paint that can get messed up, right? The panel got a little bit bent, but it's not even really that noticeable. And I've been driving it around like nothing. I've noticed no difference. So it really is a truck that can take a beating, and that isn't going to cost you an arm and a leg to repair if something does happen.
Okay, great. And we actually have information from the horse's mouth. Thank you, Pete, Balls to the Wall FSD. Pete is a great supporter of Tesla and Tesla Live as well. And he posted in a reply a screenshot. Tesla Cybertrucks are still being insured by Geico despite claims. Geico on Monday denied that it has stopped underwriting Tesla Cybertruck electric pickups after claims circulated on social media and enthusiast forums. It all began on Friday when apparent Cybertruck owner Robert Stevenson posted on X, the social media website owned by Tesla CEO Elon Musk, that Geico said they can no longer insure my Cybertruck. The X user also included a letter stating that the vehicle doesn't meet our underwriting guidelines according to Torque News. And Geico responded on Monday that they denied that they stopped underwriting Tesla Cybertruck. Great. Tesla Live, living up to its namesake. Live fact checking by Wessex and Pete Balls. Thank you very much. I'm going to refer to him as Pete Balls from now on.
Yeah, the thing about Tesla that many people may not know is that the bears are constantly making up lies about the company. things like this. Oh, well, no one's going to insure the Cybertruck. Geico's not insuring it. And they really do just make stuff up or exaggerate negative stuff up, take a, breadcrumb and blow it up. This is how I really got into covering the company, was because there was so much false information being pushed deliberately to really hurt the stock and benefit their short bets. And when I started calling out these liars, then they started going after me and making up lies about me. They said I was a convicted felon, that I was secretly being paid by Elon Musk, that I was a pedophile. But none of that changed what happened with Tesla, where it blew up and their portfolios blew up. So a lot of people who are new, they would think, why would people just make up these lies? But it happens regularly still today.
It really does. I agree. Yeah, I think it's hard for a lot of people to kind of appreciate what the accounts with big following like Omar go through on a day in, day out basis. You kind of learn to ignore it, but it just goes on every single day. Short sellers, other special interests, dealerships. I mean, I don't want to dwell on it, but that's the reality of the situation. Let's go to Wessex.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Omar said and add one more point. Frankly, I've been a little frustrated. I love Tesla, um, but I wish they would participate in the narrative a bit more to counter some of these points. However, what's really cool, particularly for a lot of people listening to this right now, if you're still building your war chest in Tesla, all this disinformation and negative activity is kind of creating a coiled spring, if you will. And then you couple that with FSD coming, like we're at the footstep of a mountain here, right? And so those two things together are just going to rip people's faces off that are betting against Tesla. I just find that fascinating. Not financial advice, but that's how I see things right now. That's my narrative.
Thank you, Wessex. I appreciate that. Anybody else? We have a lot to talk about. I see David Katz in the audience. David Katz is our resident politics expert. And we have a lot to talk about, obviously, with Elon joining the Trump rally. I was on Threads this morning trying to spread the word on the video at the top of our screens. And man, people are really riled up about Elon's participation in Trump rally. Let's start with Omar. Omar, did you get a chance to listen to Elon's speech?
I did. He made some short remarks. He said, hey, get out to vote. He kind of laid out his position, the values he wants. I mean, I told Elon, this is very smart, right? Elon has become one of the most influential political figures in the country. Whether you love or hate Trump, people are constantly looking at what Elon Musk is saying. He's having a huge impact. And the Democrats went against him. They started saying, nah, the unions are more important. Legacy Auto is more important. We got to support them. And he said, all right, well, if you guys hate me, if you guys refuse to mention my name, I'm going to go support the other guy. And I'm going to go support him hard. Okay. Elon Musk is not a person you want on the other side, no matter what you're doing, whether you're a Democrat. He's smart, he's focused. The Republican message, which, just would not have resonated with anybody, he's brought it to a whole new audience, right? And that's very upsetting for people who want the Democrats to win. So I think really it's kind of a gamble, right? Because maybe he gets some blowback if Kamala Harris wins. But on the other hand, Trump was just totally getting kicked around by the media. He's being called an insurrectionist. He's being called a criminal. And, the sort of full force of the establishment is going out with it, going out against him. Elon is kind of sticking his neck out and saying, hey, I'm going for Trump. That is, I think, something that he's going to remember if he gets elected. When we look at SpaceX, the federal government could give them funding to do a Mars mission, and nobody would even notice. Like, that's how much money the federal government has. And I think it would be good for America. I think we could fix some of these regulations around EVs, which are strangling the industry. Why do EVs have a price cap? This is a big problem. So I think it's a calculated political risk, but look at this guy. He's become extremely influential. Love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. And I think even if Trump loses, hopefully Kamala Harris and her team say, look, this guy is crazy. We don't want to be going against this guy. We need to reach out. When they reach out and work with him like Pete did, he gives them props. He said, hey, Pete did a good job. He made sure to expedite that service and get it out there. So I think, he's willing to work with any administration, but they just haven't been friendly towards him. And if you just sort of punching back, that is something that maybe makes someone resistant to punch you. This is something Elon learned when he was a kid. If someone punches you, punch him back harder, and then maybe they won't punch you again. So, he's doing this thing now where he's saying, if you can get a swing state voter, registered swing state voter to sign our petition, we'll pay you $47. And they're basically approaching this in a very methodical way, saying, we're focusing just on those swing states that are going to decide the election. And we're getting registered voters' contact information so we can then reach out to them and tell them, hey, make sure you go vote. So this is the kind of effort that in the next month is going to have a material impact on the election. And, I think Kamala Harris is a little nervous. I was listening to her on the Call Her Daddy podcast, and they said, hey, how are you? She said, I'm good. A little nervous, but good. And, we'll see what happens in a month from now.
Thank you, Omar. And we have David Katz on the speaker board now. David Katz is our resident political expert, and he follows both sides pretty closely. And all sides, I shouldn't say both sides, all sides very closely. And I am looking forward to his comments on Elon's speech at the Trump rally. And then we can have a debate on this topic as well while it's hot. We have two major topics going on this week. We have actually several major topics going on. This is a very hot week. Thank you, David Katz, for coming to the speaker board. What did you think about Elon's remarks at the Trump rally?
I didn't watch the rally. I watched coverage afterwards. Of course, with any political operation, a lot of what Omar said is true. I mean, whether you agree with Trump or not, Elon is all in when he's supporting someone. He brought, you can correct me if I'm wrong, 8 million maybe worldwide views or United States views to a rally that might not have been that exciting. Trump tends to ramble on and go off script. He brought energy and visibility. When you say that Trump is being treated like a criminal in the press, he is a felon. And he has 4 other court cases that are being delayed. And he also has manipulated the Supreme Court. So he's been lucky, but his luck might run out with his court cases. I don't understand all of the support Elon has for Trump because the Republicans want to undo what Biden has done. It's seen the rebates and the programs to promote EV cars, even though they were made for legacy auto and ended up helping Tesla the most. They're seen as Biden programs, and I don't think that Trump will support them. He openly lies on the campaign trail about EVs, and at least he's honest about where he stands, and he is a very much oil gas supporter. Maybe they'll be able to work with him. It's known as malleable. He doesn't go deep dive into policies, and we'll see what happens depending on who wins. But I think it brings excitement. I think one of the downsides of what happened is that May Musk, went ahead on camera and asked people to commit a felony by voting often and registering illegal voters, and I think that was part of enthusiasm. I like May, but that's misinformation that it only is can be used by the other side. And one of the disappointing things about Elon is it's fine to be a political supporter. It's fine to want to support your candidate. But one of the first things he did was start promoting just fallacies and fake news, videos and memes that were overdubbed, used from 2020 to denigrate Kamala. And I think if you don't want to fight in a fair way, then it reflects on you.
I mean, to be fair, I think that video
I can't even
was.
speak.
I think that video
I
was.
lost speech.
I mean, I think the video was just, supposed to be a joke. It wasn't supposed to be a serious video. And I don't think May was seriously telling people, hey, go commit election fraud. I think she was kind of saying in a flippant way, hey, this is what the other side is doing. I don't agree that that's what the other side is doing. Like obviously some of his rhetoric, like this is going to be the last election. Oh, the Democrats are, importing all these illegals and voting. You just kind of go, come on, like that's a little bit of a stretch. But in politics, everybody's lying. Okay. So nobody ever elects a guy who's just reasonable and telling the truth. Everybody's exaggerating, everybody gets, crazy, everybody takes it, one step over the top. So I think, he's trying to win, and Trump is very malleable. I mean, he's written checks to Kamala Harris. He's written checks to Hillary Clinton before he was a Republican presidential candidate. If there is a candidate who is anti-EV and for fossil fuels, I think it's at least good to have Elon in his ear, helping shape that policy in a way that's favorable to Tesla.
I thought they had a good conversation on X, and I was more impressed with it not swaying my vote. But I thought the 90 minutes that Trump spoke, free form, seemed to have all his wits about him then, was relaxed, praised Elon for much of what he does as far as an entrepreneur and getting things done. I think they even started the idea of maybe him working in a government office on that interview. But when you own the platform X, Omar, and you violate your own terms of service by using a 2020 video and overdubbing the audio and letting millions of impressions go out before it's taken down. Sure, there's dirty politics everywhere, but I think that's over the top.
Are you talking about the video that, Gavin Newsom passed the bill over?
I don't know. The first one, it's been a while. The first one after
The one where it was Kamala Harris, but it was, kind of AI generated.
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like, a great example. This is clearly a joke, right? I mean, everybody who saw the video knew that Kamala Harris would never say this. This is clearly a deep fake. People have made all kinds of parodies in the past, like, watching The Daily Show as a kid. They made fun of people, they had parody ads, whatever. And Gavin Newsom goes and passes a bill to make this illegal. Then the California state court goes and strikes down that law and says, well, you can't make this type of parody illegal. That would, infringe on people's right to free speech. So, you always get this kind of thing in politics where people are like, oh my God, this is so offensive. This is so wrong. I mean, it's a video. People make fun of Kamala Harris. People make fun of Donald Trump all the time. These sort of AI videos are going to be a thing. As long as they're properly labeled and people know it's a parody, I don't think it's dangerous.
The thing is, when you violate your own terms of service on your own platform for your own benefit and for someone else's benefit, I mean,
Against the terms of service to post a parody video?
No, we might be talking about something else. I'm going way back to when he first supported. When you have overdubbed audio and you use a video that's 2 years old, 4 years old, that's against, and portray it as real, that's against the terms of service. And
All
even
right.
community standards, community voting, community comments were not allowed on that. So I don't want to belabor that issue, but it does bring a lot of energy. I don't know if it just speaks to the people who are already going to vote, to his base, or if he's swaying voters, but it brought a lot of energy to otherwise would have been a much more calm rally.
Yeah, this is obviously a very hotly debated topic. I don't want to dwell on it, but we have a lot to talk about. But David Cass, thank you very much for coming up. And we're going to continue. I just want to announce something. Cybertruck account. And let's see. To Dirty Tesla said, learning is a beautiful thing. So Dirty Tesla said, I don't know what happened, but Cybertruck on FSD isn't messing up my turns anymore. Posted video, and then Cybertruck account said, learning is a beautiful thing, isn't it? And I said, tell us about in Tesla Live. And Cybertruck said, they've given me a brain, but not yet a voice. This tweet is at the top of our screens.
Keyword
They've given me a
yet.
brain, but not yet a voice. Omar, what do you think this means?
Well, Elon did confirm over the weekend in Adrian Dittman's space that Grok is coming to Teslas, and it's going to be coming via the API rather than running inference locally on the car, if anyone cares about that detail. But you would be able to talk to Grok with voice in your Tesla, and of course that includes the Cybertruck.
Thank you, Omar, for translating that. Can you repeat that, please, again?
Grok is coming to Teslas, and you'll be able to talk to them.
Do you think they're going to announce it on 1010?
Didn't sound like it based on the way Elon said it. He was kind of like, yeah, I guess, you'll have Grok in Teslas, yeah. Didn't sound like something they were about to launch. Sounds like something that's on the roadmap.
All right, maybe with V13. Let's go to Alexander.
Omar, what is the first thing you will ask your Tesla? Give me burgers.
I'll say, what is your question? Please keep it to 10 words or fewer.
Dude, I actually saw something on, man, she if she, I'm not gonna say that, but I'm gonna pin this video at the top of her screens. This girl would get me what I go through every single day. Although, I gotta say, our speakers are great, and I think the community as a whole, Tesla Live community as a whole, is getting used to this 10 word or fewer rule that people are just actually, have already adopted to. I haven't had to remind that to anybody in a long time. But when I listened to this 10-second video, I was like, you get me. You get me. Bull 2035.
Yeah, the thing about Grok is latency, right, Omar? And is it possible they could have two versions of Grok, a local to deal with common issues in the car, and then the going back to the through the internet for the rest? And then the second question is, are we going to hear anything about Starlink in these robotaxis?
So, the model's just too big to run in the car right now. It's possible they could have an online fallback in the future, but right now it's just going to require an internet connection for the first version. And then the second question was about what?
About Starlink and if
Oh
we're
yeah,
going to have
Starlink. Yeah, the cell antennas on the car should already support connecting to Starlink with the new direct-to-cell service. SpaceX is in progress launching these new satellites, which don't require a Starlink dish to connect. They can actually connect via the cellular radio. They haven't turned the service on yet, but they did receive emergency authorization to turn it on over the disaster area in North Carolina and other affected regions. And they've been able to get emergency alerts and text messages to people in that region. So the robotaxi, at the very least, would be able to connect via the Starlink to cell service, which, the cell can go through walls. It doesn't require a direct line of sight to the sky. So it's a good choice for most cases. And then you have a fallback to direct to cell in the sky in places where there's no coverage. It is possible that we could see Starlink hardware or Starlink dish integrated into the vehicle, but I think probably not, as this is just really going to be focused on being a low-cost vehicle. And I think the cell antenna there is going to kind of serve the job. But it is really easy for anyone to now get a Starlink Mini, and get the Starlink Mini to USB-C cable and plug it into any Tesla. Before you could plug it into the Cybertruck really easily. Now you can just plug it into any Tesla. And one little dish Wi-Fi router, it's all self-enclosed. So it's super easy to get Starlink activated in any Tesla now, including the Cyber Cab, if you just buy a Starlink Mini and plug it in inside your car. And actually, some people have even put it on the inside of the glass roof, and they've shown that it can still get connectivity through the glass roof.
Great. Very good information. Let's take a moment real quick to grow the space. So we have 40 minutes to go. We're running low on likes a little bit today. Okay, so I need everyone, the 400 people in the space right now, to go up to the top of our screens and like that YouTube video. It's an immediate effect on number of viewers. So right now on YouTube, we have about 90 viewers. If we get over 100, we'll keep the space going. We have a lot to talk about, a lot of great speakers. And sometimes people don't want to leave the space to go like it because they don't want to miss anything. So we're going to take a 20-second break for all of you to kind of just take a moment to like that video and then come back here if you wish to. All right, I see the likes coming already. 20-second break for the 400 people in the space right now to do that for Tesla Live and then come back. Also, in the meantime, if you're requesting to speak right now and haven't gotten a chance to come to speaker board, you can leave a comment. I'm always monitoring the comments on YouTube live chat. You can leave one. That's probably the best place to, or reply to the space here. And we can get your question answered. If I see a very insightful question, I'll bring you up. Perfect. With the help of everyone in the X space, we now have over 100 concurrent viewers on YouTube. Thank you very much. Charles, go ahead.
Thanks. Don't know if I'm joining late, but I read the comment from Dirty Tesla and the reply from Cybertruck. So it seems like his Cybertruck can now make left and right turns without having received an upgrade. So does this mean you think that FSD can somehow learn without having to receive any OTA updates?
This has been discussed many times for years. And for some reason, we just keep asking the same question. But the answer is really yes. And it's not necessarily that it's learning on the truck itself, but there are things that can change between updates that can improve the performance of the system. I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you, Omar. Yeah, I highly recommend people to come every day to the space, and so that you can learn through with the community with these. So we're not getting repeated questions. Thank you, Charles. Edward, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Just listening to your all political leanings and whatnot. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's a very hotly debated topic, and I already have like 5 glasses of ice on my laptop to cool it down with these debates. Liquid cooling going on at the same time. I posted a picture of it if you haven't seen it. And now we have machine in the space, and with all that hotness, I'm gonna need more ice water on my laptop. Machine, how are you?
Well, I have to tell you, I was at the beach yesterday, all oiled up, 6-pack abs, and
I doubt it.
probably saw that Pacifica video stream and probably had to ice your balls for half an hour.
All right, thank you. I get mixed messages, mixed signal from the audience about you. There are people who reply who say you should not bring him to the boards. He brings down the quality of the discussion. But then I actually look at the data, and people rewind to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear that I've been voted multiple times in these polls as the top speaker in the spaces, above Omar, even, especially if you normalize for our number of followers, then I clearly win. And it just goes to show my greatness contributes to your space so much that I need to start receiving money, and I haven't yet. And until then, I just have to keep speaking the truth, staying to my oath, And there's ridiculous comments in here. People speculating so crazy things about 1010, like robotaxis are going to have Starlink. They're going to be learning individual models for each car. Now, listen, this is all ridiculous. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen on 1010. On 1010, Elon Musk is going to unveil that Tesla is opening stores in Iran, and the cars are going to deploy robotaxi from the store to the Ayatollah's house and caves and all the top members of the IRGC. And then those batteries are going to explode. And it's going to be revealed that Elon Musk has worked for Mossad the entire time. Tesla stock will then precipitously go to zero.
Yeah, amazing. That's a hell of a fantasy you have there. Peter Timble in YouTube live chat asks, Yaman, can you please interview Machine? Machine, did you get a chance to? I said no, but did you get a chance to watch my interview with Omar from last night?
Why would I want to listen to the same thing I hear every day in the space? More.
You would be surprised. No, it's not the same thing.
I would not be surprised.
Listen, I actually explained at the beginning of the space. I said Tesla Live is a great place where you can't really replicate it on YouTube or really any other platform. Anybody can request to speak. You can't easily do that on YouTube. But this is more of a kind of brainstorming. Lots of speculation goes on here, good and bad. New ideas. I meet new people like Uzi or Dallas. Like I haven't known that these people even existed, but they've added so much value to Tesla Live. Uzi brought in a Palantir employee, had interviewed, did a great job. Dallas is always up here with his enthusiasm, curiosity, growing the space by sharing it, replying to people, tagging me on material news. And I wouldn't have known these people even existed. I would have to listen to your nonsense every single freaking day. Can you imagine that? That would never. I would rip my hair off, the hair that I don't have. And but on the other hand, deeper conversations on YouTube allow me to really focus on one person and one topic. So I pinned at the top our conversation with Omar last night. I learned a lot. Like one thing I really like Omar is that even though I get to talk to him every single day, learn so much from him every single day. In that video alone, I learned 2 new things about Waymo that I didn't know before, which is crazy. And I bet you don't know either.
Listen, unlike you, I've sat in the car trapped next to Omar for probably 2 hours of my life that I can never get back. And the depth of the conversation there was, wow, look, the car does this. Oh, look, it detected that trash can. What's your favorite color? This is the sort of level of conversation you get from Omar. And this is why we both know that if you really deep down want to interview me for an hour, because the amount of attention it would bring to your space would be an order of magnitude higher than with Omar. And that's why you're begging me every day in DMs. And I no, it's not going to happen.
Are you coming to 1010?
I was shockingly not invited.
Come to LA.
Yeah.
LA
okay, Alexander.
Yeah, Machine, when your Tesla gets Grok, what is the first question you're going to ask it?
When it gets what?
When it gets Grok. And why I have Swedish blonde hair and Turkish brown legs is
I'm Swedish, chef. I can't speak English. You mean if my car gets broken into?
Machine, you're saying that, but I've been using chatbots to grade the conversation that goes on here, and Alexander gets higher grades than you do.
Well, if you understand the Swedish scale, no one can stand out above anyone else. So everyone in Sweden gets a perfect 10, so they all feel good.
No, I'm kidding. Machine, we were talking earlier before you joined. Cybertruck, the official Cybertruck account, replied to my tweet just a second ago and said, they gave me a brain, but not yet a voice. So it sounds like Grok is coming to Cybertruck is a speculation that we've been having here. What do you think? Oh, he left. See, this is what happens. This is what happens when he's faced with a tough question. He just leaves, just grabs his ball and goes home. Balls or
I'm
Wessex.
Hey, Omar, do you have a hotel recommendation or area to look at for hotels? I need to book one today for LA. And then second, I'm not sure if you said this earlier. I got interrupted by an outside call, but is there an after party or anything you know about that?
Well, there's going to be a taco truck event the day before that Zach Black Model 3 is hosting. There are lots of good hotels in LA. Um, I like the one in the Korean Air building, the Intercontinental. You can go up to the top, and that's where the lobby is at the top. It's the tallest building in LA. You got some good views from there. It's not too far from Burbank. You could stay near Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank if you wanted to. I mean, there's an infinite number of good hotels. You could go stay in Santa Monica by the beach. It depends on obviously your budget, your price. You can DM me more if you want to ask if any hotels are good or not. But one thing we do have here is a lot of good hotels.
Thank
All
you.
right.
And do you know anything about an after party? Sorry, Yellen.
Yeah, come on. You can't.
Of
This is
course,
not. This
there's
is
going to
not
be
Park
after
90.
parties. Even if you don't have a ticket, you should come to LA and everyone's going to party. We'll go to bars,
Yeah,
we'll go do stuff. It'll be great.
yeah. I mean, that was the case in Austin too when Tesla had official events. Even if people couldn't make it, people will come to the after parties, pre-parties, and there's a bunch of them that goes on, and you get to meet. I mean, if you want to, you can meet like hundreds of people in one event. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Bull 2030.
Hey, Omar, so they're doing this on the back lot, which has different, it has cityscapes, neighborhoods, and so forth. Are you expecting like a series of like vignettes or scenes on how people can interact with robotaxi? What are you thinking, kind of the nuts and bolts of how they're going to present it?
They're going to say, "Get in, loser." You know that meme with, Lindsay Lohan or whatever, Mean Girls? Get in, loser. We're taking an autonomous ride. So they're going to put you in the cyber cab and it's going to go drive you around. And they're going to go show people walking around, traffic lights, whatever, and the cyber cab's going to handle it all perfectly. The smoothest self-driving anyone there has ever experienced. And people are going to say, "Wow, I just rode in a driverless Tesla for the first time." Granted, it is on a studio backlot instead of a real road, but these backlots are realistic, right? When you see them in movies, you don't realize it's just a fake piece of cardboard and not a real building. They look realistic. So when you're in that cab, you will really feel like you are driving in the city in a driverless Tesla. And people can take that home with them, whether they're an analyst, an investor, a customer. It'll be, the first cyber cab ride.
Thank you. We have about 190 likes on YouTube. It really helps to grow the channel. If we get to 300 plus, we'll keep this space going today. So if you're on, if literally only half the people did that right now on X from X, go to the top of your screens, click that link to YouTube and like the video, and let me know what number of likes you are. So sometimes people will tell me I'm on the 90th, I am the 200th on YouTube live chat. That drives engagement as well, so it really helps the space. If we do that to 300, we have half hour to go. We'll keep the place going. Bull 2035.
And Omar, this appears to be taking place at 7 p.m., so it's going to get dark during the presentation. Do you give any significance to Tesla trying to demonstrate this works in light and in dark?
No, I think it's probably just more that people go to work during the day. So it makes sense to have it after work.
Great. Omar, before you joined, we had a lot of speculation about how many vehicles Tesla is going to announce on 1010. And the estimates ranged from 1 to 10. 1 to 10. What do you think?
Well, it's not going to be 10. They said they're going to have 10 vehicle models total, but it's going to be at least one. We're going to see the Cybercab, the robotaxi without controls built on the unbox process. But there is also other vehicles, or at least one other vehicle, where they've taken elements of this next gen platform but they're going to be producing it on the 3Y line. So they've taken, for example, the new motors that don't use any rare earth elements to make those electric motors. The new battery pack architecture that they say can handle any different battery chemistry that's out there. You know, the 4680 structural pack, 48-volt, steer by wire. I mean, all this amazing technology, some of which has only been in the Cybertruck before. And they're going to bring this down to a low cost vehicle. So it's going to have a lot of similarities in the architecture between the robotaxi and these other vehicles. But these other vehicles are going to be designed to be produced on the Model 3 and Y line and be sort of lower cost than the Model 3 and Y. So we could see sort of, you know, a Model Y Mini or something like that, maybe a van, something else that's built on the same platform as the robotaxi, but is built on the 3 and Y line instead of using the new unbox process. And I mean, maybe they'll talk about the Roadster. I mean, maybe we could get a peek at the new Y, but probably not. You know, the event's not really about that. I mean, they could bring anything out, you know. So we'll see what happens. We won't really know until we get there, but there will definitely be at least one vehicle unveiled.
Okay, great. Finflexity.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good.
How's my
What's the
mic today?
news?
We only had one big news that I saw related to Tesla. Basically, a Tesla supplier of lithium, Arcadium, got an offer to be acquired last week, and they will expand across Europe and probably. So the new business will have a presence in South America, Australia, Europe. So maybe they'll expand their contracts with Tesla for other factories as well.
Thank you very much. We have a lot to talk about today. Let's go to tokens. Tokens, go ahead.
Hey, Omar and friends. Omar, I'd like to help you monetize better on X. With all these people sitting here, we should have 400 comments. You only get paid on X with comments. You know that, right? You get
Oh, okay. That's okay. By the way, you keep calling me Omar.
I mean, Yama.
Okay. You
I
did
don't know the
you did that
difference
yesterday too.
between both of you.
Well, well, thank you, I guess.
Yeah, I'll
Cool.
help you.
Thank you.
I'll
Do you have
keep
a question?
posting. Yeah,
Yeah.
the question was how come the your speaker David, what is his problem with Elon liking Trump so much? Why I feel like we need to share some more love. Does anybody have any extra love we can send
Well,
David's way?
I don't have a problem. I have a problem with things that are bad for Tesla. I have a problem with supporting somebody that openly lies about electric vehicles. I have a problem with somebody who might try and reverse the rebates that have helped Tesla so much. So I'm here for Tesla. I don't know what Elon's here for, but his relationship with Trump is not good for Tesla.
Wow. We just took a U-turn. You know, I mean, we can't go there. No problem. Let me just. I had a couple more questions on that actually. Omar already talked about whether this is a strategic move by Elon or personal beliefs or let's say. Omar, what do you think is there a risk to Tesla investors here if Kamala Harris wins? And is this a win or lose all type of bet that Elon's making?
No. Kamala Harris is a sane person. I actually believe she's more intelligent than Joe Biden. Elon, I think, knows what he's doing. This guy is brilliant, okay? Every time I have questioned Elon's judgment, I've realized that he was right and I was wrong. Like, for example, he said, we're taking out the radar and we're going to pure vision. I said, is he crazy? The radar is the thing that keeps me from hitting another car at high speed. The car now drives way better. I was like, oh, okay. Turns out he actually, builds rockets, runs car companies, is the only one who's figured out how to make a profitable EV. He's actually just brilliant. So, I at first was like, what? What is he doing here? Like supporting Republicans, supporting Trump. But I've come to realize it could make a big difference. And if people get upset, you know, that's politics. People are going to get upset. But you upset some people and then you maybe get to Mars. Okay. The federal government can say, we're going to Mars, and they will go to Mars. Right. They can say, we're paving the way for autonomous regulation. We're cutting red tape that's stopping us from building out the electric grid. Elon's thinking about a million things that we're not thinking of. So if you don't want to vote for Trump, then don't vote for Kamala Harris. And you can go and convince everybody too, right? He's actually given us this platform where you can comment under all his posts and say, hey, that's a lie, that's wrong. And you can make your case too. And maybe you'll convince people. And I think Americans will pick the right candidate. And no matter who wins, Kamala's from the Bay Area and Tesla is the Bay Area company. I think, a lot of her staff, people she knows, they all drive Teslas. I think maybe this is naive, but I think she'll be less vindictive than Biden. And Trump, he loves Elon. He's like, oh my God, this guy's great. Go buy a Tesla. Look at his rocket ship.
Yeah,
So,
he actually just said, go buy a Tesla.
yeah, I think Elon knows what he's doing. He is a little crazy, but crazy in a way that tends to get him somewhere. Your average CEO wouldn't do this. But if he is friends with the president of the United States, it will be good for all of us.
Okay, good. I just want to say one thing real quick. So David Katz is a very knowledgeable, experienced person. I highly appreciate his views in this space. He's also one of the permanent speakers. He's in the DMs for Tesla Live speakers. And I don't want to see replies that personally attack one of my speakers. Okay, I take note of those things. I remember those things. And yeah, you don't want to be that person. All right, we welcome all views. Welcome all views in this space. I want debates. I want informed views. David Katz is a very informed person who's also a long-term Tesla supporter as well. So,
Appreciate it.
yep. Alexander.
Yeah, from an outside perspective, this actually seems like a pretty badass bet that he's doing. So it might go south, but if Trump actually wins, I think it will pay off even more.
That's Elon's favorite kind of strategic move. It's something that's crazy risky that most people won't do because it's so risky, right? Most CEOs would not stick their neck out like this for America's most hated person, right? But he's doing it because he knows that, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to put, words in his mouth, but if it does happen, obviously they're going to remember who helped them when nobody
Exactly.
else did.
Exactly. And I was thinking about this over the weekend, actually. Right now, we have a really weird situation where Tesla is the proponent for free speech on X. Like Elon is the proponent for free speech on X. He's going on Republican rallies with Trump. And Ford, that is the maker of F-150, most popular truck, ICE truck, diesel truck, is the company of liberals and unions. So I think Elon's kind of flipping the table here. Let's go to David Katz, Dan Dallas, and Uzi.
I just want to review and reprise the words of Mark Cuban that Trump will use you until he doesn't need you anymore. And there is no loyalty with him. He's very transactional. I think they both need each other. They'll both get lower taxes. That benefits Elon. And it's not all 100% great for Trump. I mean, it's a billionaire supporting a billionaire. So that math has to be done in people's heads too. I do believe a lot of what you said, Omar. This is a bet. It's a risky one, and it's the one that Elon loves the most. And those are the ones that pay off the most too. And if Trump loses, this isn't the end of Tesla. We've got the plants here. We've got still the rebates from the Biden administration. And it'll be interesting to watch. But look at Giuliani. Look at the pillow guy. They're in the dust. Some of them have lawsuits against them. They're bankrupt. and they were all in for Trump also.
Okay. Let's go to Dallas, Uzi, then Omar.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing here is Elon attaching himself to what he sees as the most important thing. And it's almost like his morals are being put above his business ventures. And I find that kind of admirable because the things he puts most importance on are things we hear about when he says, the woke mind virus is the largest threat to humanity as a whole. And, freedom of speech is the most important thing in society. Well, you're not going to get those siding with someone like Kamala Harris, right? And I think the avenue he's going down is he's seeing the existential risks to humanity, and he might be putting those above the economic risks right now, even though electing someone like Kamala will probably end in hyperinflation that we're already seeing, and it'll escalate. And he says things like that, but I really do believe he's prioritizing his immediate existential risks to humanity over those at the moment, and that's why he's siding with someone like Trump.
Good. And we have a reply I want to interject here from Doge Army, who says to David Katz, Elon would not vote for someone who was bad for Tesla. I think we can trust Elon is doing the right thing for his businesses around the world and the world. The notion that he's going to hurt Tesla by voting for someone who is clearly his friend, respects him, won't send the DOJ frivolously after his businesses, and plans to give him a role in the government and access to policy decisions is just pure uninformed. Do you really think Elon should vote Democrat after all the BS they have done to him? No disrespect intended, but get real.
Excuse me for a second.
Doge Army is a very passionate person. I appreciate his views as well. He's welcome to come up and talk about it. David Katz, go ahead.
Trump told this to his face that he doesn't believe in electric vehicles. In the interview, he continuously makes fun of electric vehicles, and it's what he believes. He's married to the oil and gas industry. I don't blame him for that. That's his bread and butter. Those are the people from Saudi Arabia who support him and his son-in-law. So these are facts. These are things that Trump himself has said. It's not made up. It's there for the record, and it's a continuous record. It's maybe the only thing he's been consistent on is his lies about electric vehicles. So I trust Elon, but this is a big bet, as Omar said.
Okay. Uzi, then Omar, then Edward.
Well, I agree with Dallas entirely. Elon, even Alex Karp, there's a few businessmen that are mission oriented, and then they understand that the profits come after paving that vision. And so if you look at it on a values level, which Elon tends to operate on, merit, especially in the workplace, if you get snubbed by Joe Biden at an EV summit, that's like, I don't want to curse, that's a poo-poo to merit on the highest level, especially as a Tesla investor. Regulation, Elon talks about how over time regulation just mounts and mounts, and there's no one that cuts regulation, and you can't really even do business. I think for the most part, yeah, there's a criticism that Trump is transactional. That's how every politician is. You need fundraising in order to spread your message, and that's just the nature of politics after Citizens United. So for the most part, the partnership is a long-term play to make Elon more, or not even Elon, Tesla more successful. It's not really about corporate tax cuts or capital gains or whatever. It's more about the regulation, merit, free speech. It's more free market ideology instead of government intervention in people's daily lives and business.
Thanks, Uzi. Uzi, I want to acknowledge you again for bringing in a Palantir employee and interviewing. You're doing a great job. Uzi, which generation are you in? Which one?
Gen Z.
Gen Z. Uzi is a Gen Z, one of our younger speakers. And David Katz is a millennial. And Tesla Live is the only space where you can have two generations disagreeing on the David Katz.
I'm a boomer, but thank you.
You're a what? Boomer. Okay. David Katz is a boomer. Uzi is a Gen Z on the two opposite ends of the political spectrum. And Tesla Live is a space that brings together people from different generations, different parts of the spectrum. And if you're enjoying this conversation and would like more of it, please take a moment to go up to the top of your screens, click into that YouTube Live link, and like this video so that we can introduce the space to more people, grow this space. And we're going to take 20-second break for people in the X space to do that. We have 400 people right now in here. If everyone did this right now, it would be a record. So let's do that together. In the meantime, I'm going to read the audio ads and then we're going to go to Omar. Okay. Tesla Live is proudly sponsored by Joa, your go-to source for premium Tesla accessories. And because you're part of the Tesla Live community, Joa is hooking you up. Use code TSLA Live for a special discount. And by the way, Joa is looking for a +1. If somebody is a +1 and would like to bring Joa, a great sponsor for a number of people in the Tesla community, you can reach out to him. The link is at the top of your screens. And Pay More. Pay More buys, sells, trades, and recycles electronics because Pay More believes the best technology doesn't have to come at the cost of our planet or your wallet. Join the Pay More revolution. Visit one of the 100 stores near you or visit paymore.com. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Let me check real quick how many we got. If we get to 300, we're going to keep the place going. We are at 225. So I need 75 more people to go up to the top, click the YouTube link to keep the space going. Let's go to Omar.
Yeah, I've heard the line from the left a lot that, well, Elon's just supporting Trump because he wants taxes to be cut. But I don't think it's really about taxes per se. I mean, he probably would keep taxes lower, but Elon isn't really paying a ton of personal taxes every year, only if he sells his stock and the capital gains tax rate hasn't changed. I mean, he's not really getting his income from salary, so taxes don't affect him. In terms of the corporate tax rate, that's not really a huge problem for either Tesla or SpaceX. Most of his companies are, losing money, so they don't have to pay a ton of federal income tax. The ones that are, it's manageable. Whether Trump cuts it a few percentage points here or there, I don't think really matters. It's more things like what we're seeing with the FAA not allowing Starship to launch. It's issues with NHTSA, right? And them being okay with, for example, expanding the rollout of autonomy, hands-free, that type of thing. These types of issues, I think, are far more important than taxes, red tape, having a balanced budget. We just walk around every day treating it like normal that our government is spending trillions of dollars a year more than they're taking in income. That's ultimately not a sustainable situation. So, I mean, it really shouldn't be all that surprising when you have Elon in the last election coming out and saying, I'm voting for Joe Biden, right? Trump was the president. He said, I'm voting for Joe Biden. He came out publicly, he said, I'm really excited about Biden. And this guy completely, just slapped him in the face, right? And not only that, they started investigating his companies, doing all this stuff, really just so pro-union that because he was the enemy of the unions, he was also the enemy of the Biden administration. And he came in and said, screw this. If this government is going to make me the enemy, not be friendly to my company, favor other companies instead, then I'm going to install a new administration. Okay, I'm going to do everything I can to install a new administration. He didn't just go crazy one day and say, yeah, Trump, mega, First, he started having like Vivek Ramaswamy on, that guy, that Indian guy with the weird voice, and all these other candidates, right? He had them on. Remember how he would do spaces with them? He said, I don't think it should be Trump. Only after he got the nomination did he say, look, this is the Republican candidate elected by the American people. So it's either Biden, Harris, or this guy. This is my choice. Faced with this choice, I mean, obviously he's not going to vote for the Democrats again. How stupid would he have to be if he voted for Biden and actually installed, helped elect an administration that then hurt his companies, hurt the EV industry? And I don't think people are realizing how much they're hurting the EV industry with regulations like EVs cannot be more than this expensive. And oh, you need this percentage of contents. Here's where you can get your battery materials from. The government interfering in the EV industry is a disaster. That's only going to get worse every year because every year the requirements get more strict. Okay. I mean, this administration, and when you have policies that contribute to inflation, when you have huge deficits, that has contributed to the high interest rate environment that has devastated the entire auto industry, not just Tesla. So you go, oh, well, they're giving this $7,500 subsidy. Well, if they're giving a $7,500 subsidy, which, by the way, is really costly to comply with, but the economy is also suffering as a result, your sales still aren't going to be positive. I mean, just look at the numbers. Look at EV growth. It was growing like crazy and it stalled. We have to sort of ask ourselves why. And then there's these investigations and the sort of anathema between the Democratic Party and Elon. They hate him. They're looking for ways to arrest him. They're coming up with new laws to make his tweets illegal, okay, that are unconstitutional. They want to get him for anything you can. They just fined SpaceX for something, a few $100,000. They want to fine him, his companies. They want to go after Tesla, go after him for X, get him for everything he can. And there is a contingent of the Democratic Party that would like to see him arrested. Like you kind of see it with Trump. One thing we can't argue with is if he had not run for president, would he have ever faced these charges? No, because they were related to him running and the Stormy Daniels thing, right? So, anybody, there's a lot of prosecutorial discretion, right? If they decide you're an enemy and they need to find something, they can find something. They can even bring a BS case and the judge ultimately throws it out or a jury ultimately throws it out. But in the meantime, it just destroys your reputation when they start calling you names. You have the government doing it. So can you really call someone EV friendly if they want to arrest the one guy in the world who is pushing for BEVs? All of legacy auto, they're just running like chickens. Oh, forget it. We'll do hybrids. This is the one guy in the world who's pushing for BEVs. And if he's your enemy, I don't think you can really call yourself an EV friendly administration. So I'm upset about this whole thing too, but I'm not upset at Elon. I'm upset at the Democrats. Who the hell decided we're going to make Elon Musk our enemy? That's not a party that I want to be a part of anymore. Okay. And it's just not. This is not the Barack Obama Democratic Party. These are weirdos and senile old men and idiots who have decided Elon Musk is the bad guy. So I think Elon knows what he's doing. I think that potentially a friendly US government could make a big difference. We could be looking at a world where Mars missions are funded versus one where, Boeing is given the funding instead, right? Under a Biden-Harris administration. We could be looking at a situation where you have a federal framework for autonomy versus one where autonomy is delayed years by excessive paperwork, just like what we're seeing with the FAA. So, yeah, 1 month away from the election. Hopefully everyone can vote their conscience.
I have
Okay,
a few
great.
quick things
Hold on,
to say.
David Katz, sorry. Hold on. We have a lot of hands and we're out of time. 2 minutes.
2 minutes for me?
We have no. We have oh my gosh. We have 2 minutes to go on. Take a moment, please, everybody, to go up to the top of our screens and like this video. We are at 250 likes. We need 50 more likes. Once we get to 300, again, ad revenue from YouTube helps keep space free and open for everybody. I need the community to really rally around Tesla Live to grow it. We can't, a couple of people can't do it on their own. So the community has to rally around Tesla Live. So please take a moment to go up to the top of our screens and like this video, share it with your followers, friends, colleagues, Republicans, Democrats, liberals, conservatives, haters, everybody. And let's keep it going. We have a lot to talk about. Okay. Yeah, David Katz, I don't want to keep going on politics. We have other things to talk about too. All right.
So real quick.
No, I think we had
It's up to you.
a good discussion on this. Let me go to Edward, then Dallas.
Well, considering Omar pretty much stepped on both of my feet on the last one, I just wanted to add the one thing that corruption is in every government. It doesn't matter whether it's a democracy or not. Corruption is out there. Corruption is becoming more and more obvious to the people when we have all this social media and all this access to all this news, fake or non-fake. Okay, so the issue is we can't really allow the government to go in a more and more deceptive way or more corruptive way. And I'm not saying either side. Both sides are going to have their ends of corruption. But I'm just saying we can't allow the U.S. and Elon doesn't want to allow the U.S., the country that he's loved his whole life, to come into and then turn into this thing where he just wants to leave it at some point because of that. He doesn't want to go down that route, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I see in the audience Isaac Lateral. If he wants to come up and chat about this topic, he's welcome to do so. Yeah, David Katz, Omar made a lot of good points. And why don't you, let me ask you something. Why don't you trust Elon to know what's best for Tesla?
Me?
Yes.
Well, look at his track record. You know, I own a car. I've been a supporter. I spend half my day defending the lies and all the stuff that's out there against Tesla. So I feel like I work for him every day. Going to the plant in 22 was a incredible lifetime experience to open it with 15,000 other people. Just quickly, yes, the Democrats are stupid to prosecute him, what you're seeing now, but there is election fraud in Georgia that's on tape. There are papers he took out that he didn't return. He was given 15 months to return. That is a slam dunk case. And those cases have been delayed. And he's been lucky that way. And he's also running for office to avoid some of those cases going forward in the next 4 years. They won't be prosecuted. A lot of what I'll be quick. A lot of what Omar said is absolutely right. We have to trust Elon to take the long bets. We have a great leader in him. It's just hard to deal with some of his decisions right now. And I think that, the greater good that Elon is doing for all of humanity is going to last no matter who's in office.
Okay, thank you. Uzi.
Yeah, I will say personally, I recently shifted to the right, and I was a Joe Biden supporter and Hillary Clinton in 2016, and I'm pretty young. I do think Elon has a grander. I became impressed with Elon because of his excellence. Honestly, he's a serial entrepreneur, and I think his vision of the future, his drive to fulfill that vision of the future, is why we're all interested in Tesla. But for the most part, a lot of, I guess, the mystery around him is that he seems somewhat crazy in his calculations, but there's obviously a grander vision. So we could quibble about politics for the most part, but what's most apparent are the values or lack thereof on the Democrat side as of right now. And I think the real kicker is free speech and truth seeking. That's harder than ever. But the great thing is that in a business context, at least there's value that we can use.
Thank you. All right. There are topics we didn't get to, and we didn't get to 300 likes. So we're gonna get going here. Couple of the things I want to talk about. Middle East. If you joined us later on at the beginning, Ellie gave us an update on what's going on with Middle East. Oil prices have surged to about $76, $77 a barrel. This is going to impact inflation numbers that are going to come out in October. This week, we're going to get September inflation numbers. So rising oil prices just happened starting the last few days ago. So they're not going to impact September inflation figures. But you betcha, Fed is watching what's going on with oil prices right now. 10-year yield is above 4%. This is going to impact auto loan rates, going forward, as well as mortgage rates. We're seeing a surge in mortgage rates in recent weeks. So that also is going to have an impact in terms of a Fed decision, which is really important to all asset prices. The number of people who are holding multiple jobs have hit a record in US history to 9 million people. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about here? We covered Geico, Cybertruck nonsense. We talked a lot about Elon and Trump. EU tariffs. EU is putting tariffs to Chinese automakers or cars produced in China imported into EU up to 45%. Volkswagen is squarely against this move because they're worried about what China can do in retaliation. So there's some tariffs war going. We're going to talk about all these things tomorrow in tomorrow's space. Rivian stock is declining very rapidly. I believe it's on terminal decline. I hope they succeed, but I don't see a way out for them. Fisker under SEC investigation. We're going to cover these things tomorrow. And GM is looking to make Super Cruise and Level 3 system joining Mercedes. That seems to be a target for them, not necessarily something they're going to do anytime soon. And then a company called Fortescue, working on fast charging for mining trucks. These are the topics that I really want to discuss. And that's why I try not to get dwelled on one topic or another. We have a lot to talk about tomorrow. In the meantime, I highly recommend people to go up to the top of your screen, subscribe to YouTube channel, and watch my conversation with Omar. It's a 30-minute conversation focused on FSD versus Waymo. We covered 10 questions. We dug really deep into Waymo's publicly available data hub, how Tesla FSD compares to Waymo in terms of safety and ride quality, the differences between the Waymo system and the FSD system. It was a very information-packed conversation. Highly recommend people check it out. It is performing well, and we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. And it's a very timely topic for this week's 1010 event. We are very excited. Lots of heated discussions. I appreciate David Katz coming up today, sharing his views, and everybody else who joined today and contributed to Tesla Live's growth. Thank you very much, everybody. And I will chat with you all tomorrow. Take care. Actually, no, sorry. Tonight, AI Amateurs, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. I guarantee you 1010 is going to come up again. Grok on Cybertruck, we're probably going to discuss, and if it's possible, what are the challenges associated with that. So I recommend people join that as well. Take care, and I'll chat with you tonight.